Hello and welcome to a brand new Bosko's Toy Box, where I'm back with more toy collectibles, and this time we're going to take a look at the WW Royal Rumble Micro Maulers. And this is a bucket of superstars, a 27-piece set that is actually a 2-in-1. It's a play set and it's a storage bin for your figures. So I had already opened up the seal, so it's easier to show you right there. So as you can see, the top of the container, which is the lid, has Royal Rumble there. And these, I'm not into wrestling, God, I almost forgot what they're called. They are made of a, they don't move, so they don't, there's no bounce to them. It's just a hard plastic. And these do not, as you can see, they're pretty well pegged down, so it's not movable, you know, so it's going to break. So that is to show you what your little play set is going to look like. Okay. Then the storage bin. Take off the little lid there. Has all your little figures. Okay. And like most action, or you know, I don't know why I keep saying the word action figure when I'm trying to refer to these army men of sorts. Like most army men, they're of a hard plastic, and they have the base that's a hard plastic. Now, like these wrestling figures, and I'll even show you a size comparison, so base to base. Okay. These are of a soft rubber. So the base is a soft, flexible rubber. And even the whole figure itself is all rubber. And can even be squished, like very squishy or bent. Okay. Now, what it looks like inside of the ring, the play set, is exactly that. To show you a size comparison of how the person, depending on its stance, because they're in different poses, different stance, what they actually look like from how they stand on their base flat against the playset ring to the top of the banisters here, so the ropes here, so a pretty good size comparison. Now the packaging tells you who you get. So you can see of all the different, you get 3 figures that are on this one side here. And let's see. There you go. Okay, so there's your 3 figures on that one side. And then they show you a bunch of other figures there. Okay, and then the other side, you've got your other figures that make up all 27. So you get one of each. Okay, and just to quickly, I'm going to breeze through these really quick. I'm not into wrestling. I don't know who each of these are without looking at the little checklist, but so you get figures that are in either red or in blue. And then, like I said, they're in different stance. Okay. Now, the true wrestling fan, like Carlos, will be able to tell who they are just by looking at them. I'm pretty sure. They do have, like, this one. I know off the bat that this is Ultimate Warrior, without even looking at the checklist. And let me just I think that's him. because he's the only one that's in that stance, and I think that is him, Ultimate Warrior. So it is Ultimate Warrior. So if you can get it in the right light, like I'm trying to do, you can see some slight detailing, like in the body, the chest, even the face. But overall, it's not in a lot of great detail like the True Legend set or the Corpse Elite figures. So there is some likeness to who they are supposed to be. And we'll show you a couple more here. There you go. And then this one with the snake. Here, let me just, like I said, I'm not a wrestling fan. And Carlos is probably watching this and already knows exactly who it is when I'm trying to sit here and look at the Jake the Snake Roberts. I don't know why I couldn't think of that name. And I grew up in the 80s. So, okay. Then you got a few others here. So some of them you are going to get in like a somewhat of a similar stance where they're either flexing or they're kind of like almost like a ready to charge. You know, they're in that kind of a position, and then you are kind of getting some that they might be in their iconic position of sorts. Okay. Let's see. Like that one, I'm sure he's in his winning or maybe even his iconic stance. And then here's probably another one. Go. And then see, Carlos already knows who that is. You can tell just by the hat and then the clothing. And there's another one. You know, I'm not a wrestling fan, but you know, I do collect Army Men. I do collect little plastic figures like this, and it's a nice change of pace. They're actually kind of cool, and I actually like how it's a storage bin and it's a wrestling ring. It's a play set. It's actually pretty cool. And by them saying Series 1 and knowing that there's more wrestlers than like just this, I'm actually kind of hoping that they do a Series 2, and I'm assuming that they're going to have another wrestling ring. I don't know if they could have another type of playset accessory as a lid, but I would really like to see, and I'm coming up on the last few here, I would really like to see more of these because they're pretty damn cool. And for $9.99 at Toys R Us, but they are available at other places like Amazon and wherever else you can find them. I've only checked two places. I've checked Amazon and Toys R Us. But $9.99 is actually pretty cool when you get a storage bin, a play set, and 27 figures. So the other thing that's probably some people that grew up in the 80s that or actually don't even have to be growing up in the 80s, but just in general that collect minifigures, that collect muscles, or collect Mutant Manias, that this could actually be a play set for them. And what I'm going to show you is, let me show you a Mutant Mania figure so you can kind of see how it stacks up against the ring itself. So if you wanted to make this a play set for the Mutant Manias, which also are a very similar size to Muscles, you can actually see what they look like in the same ring as them, and I gotta get him faced the same way. Or if you just really wanted to have some creativity here, like here, this might be a little large for the wrestling ring, but you know, you can have see, I almost slipped up against an action figure, a little plastic man there. And actually, I've got this cool one. This is like one of my favorite ones. You can have him wrestling. Actually, this would be pretty cool right here. You can actually have, and then here, let me see if I can focus there. Let's put a focus right. That is actually pretty damn cool. I like that. So you can have him wrestling a polar bear of sorts. Actually, that's going to be a toy photo right there. So these wrestling figures are a nice change of pace. It's very cool, and you know, even like me, if you're not into wrestling and you collect minifigures like this, they're different, and that's what's very cool about this. You know, because if you love mixing and matching, then this is something that you should really consider getting. And only for $9.99, it's not that big waste of money if you just doing this as a blind purchase. So in the comments below, I would love to know what you thought about these, and if you'd like to see a series 2, or if you want to see maybe some comment about your ideas of what could be like another kind of play set that they could actually do for a series 2. And just let me know what you think of this play set. And until next time, this is bosko signing off.